Chapter 30, Thursday and Friday, November 18th and 19th. Millionaires for the month. Benji walked out of the principal's office. This time, he hadn't been given $5 million. He'd been given 3 days detention for a violation of Sterling Code of Conduct, though he technically never confessed to any code of conduct violations. He only admitted to showing up at the elementary school with unicorns. As Benji stepped into the cafeteria for lunch, someone grabbed his shoulder. He turned to see Felix. "You tried to bribe the coach?" Felix asked. "What's wrong with you?" "What do you care? You made the team." Benji slipped around Felix and headed toward the station of pizza and tacos. He didn't want to talk about this anymore. He didn't want to be at school. He had an extra hour of detention coming his way. "But I almost didn't." Felix followed him. "But you did," Benji shouted. His eyes burned, and he took a deep breath to keep his voice steady. "I never had a shot, and you didn't even want to be my partner at tryouts, Felix. I had to do something." "That's not true," Felix said. "Why bother lying now? It's over." Benji took a seat at the end of the table and put his head in his hands. "Just leave me alone." You could feel Felix lingering, and Benji closed his eyes and tried to wish him away. "I'm sorry you didn't make the team," Felix said. "But what you did was stupid." Benji didn't need to look to know that Felix had walked off. After detention, Benji had his mom pick him up and take him home. Not to the hotel, but home. He was not happy about the alleged bribe, but since she had to get back to work, she didn't make it a big deal. And his dad was traveling. On Friday, his mom let him miss school when he lied about diarrhea. No one ever wants to admit to having the runs, so it was the best sickness lie going. Felix didn't call or text Benji either day. He was probably too busy with basketball and school to pretend Benji didn't care. November 19th. So, I didn't make the basketball team. I'm very disappointed, but I will practice, and I bet I'll get on the 8th grade team. When I found out I didn't make it, I thought that was the end, but my mom convinced me I could try again. I have detention for a few days because of a misunderstanding. I messed up, and I tried to do something nice for Coach Murphy. It's all okay now. School is fine too. I forgot to finish the project on Greek culture. I'll make up the work. No problem. Over and out, Benji. Saturday, November 20th. That morning, Felix finally called. "Hey, where are you?" "Home." "You need to spend some money," Felix reminded him. "We're falling behind." The only money Benji had spent in the last 24 hours was on in-app purchases. He didn't need anything else. "I'm not feeling up to it." Benji opened the fridge. Just stared at the food. "I have diarrhea." "Come on, Benji. I need your help." "No, you don't." Benji yanked out the milk and dropped a yogurt on a newly refurnished floors. "You can each spend money on your own. We have our own lives, don't we? Nowhere in the rules does it say we have to be together." Benji cleaned up the mess and waited for a reply. Something like, "But we're partners, and it's fun to do this together." Or, "I'm sorry I ignored you at tryouts, and everyone thinks I'm the nice guy, but I'm also a jerk too." But Felix didn't say anything. And when Benji's phone buzzed at the incoming text message, he hung up at a quick goodbye. Alma. Hi, it's Alma. His stomach flipped. He felt dizzy, and he started to sweat. She had the same effect on him as the daredevil dive ride at Six Flags. He didn't reply immediately, not because he was playing it cool, quite the opposite. His hands were shaking and he didn't want to mess this up. Unfortunately, he decided to follow her lead. Hi, you did. She did reply instantly, which was good because his heart couldn't take the weight. Do you want to get ice cream? I have a BOGO coupon. His instinct was to offer to pay. He could buy her all the ice cream in the store. He could fly her to Italy and get fancy gelato. He could buy a cow and could make their own ice cream. How long does it take to make ice cream? He knew she couldn't appreciate any of those offers, and her offer was already perfect. Sure, Alma. Benji, sure, Alma. 1 p.m. at Sprinkles? Benji, okay. He ran upstairs to take a shower. After he got dressed, he checked his phone, worried Alma might cancel or text JK. But she hadn't said anything. Felix had sent at least 20 messages, most begging him to waste the day spending $1 million. It was all the business transaction, nothing more. Alma had warned him that all the money might make it hard to tell who his real friends were. He never imagined she could be talking about Felix. In the 5 minutes to 1, Benji stood outside Sprinkles. His mom had dropped him off early, no chance he was going to be late. The place was empty. Not many people were getting ice cream in the middle of November. Alma arrived with her sister, Ava, went into a beauty supply store in another part of the shopping center, leaving Benji and Alma alone, like a date. Or maybe like friends. It didn't matter. Alma wore a long black winter coat and a fuzzy purple hat. Benji had never seen anyone so cute. He wanted to tell her, but chickened out. Hey, let's get ice cream, she said, waving her coupon. He pulled open the door and followed her to the counter. It was one of those places that custom creates the ice cream, mixing the base with candy and nuts over fruit. Fruit and ice cream, what a waste. Alma got vanilla with banana, cherries, and chocolate flakes. It's okay when she does it. Benji ordered caramel with Captain Crunch mixed in. Will you yell at me if I try to pay? He asked when they got to the register. Yes. Alma flashed him a smile, and she gave the cashier her coupon and a $10 bill. They took a seat in the metal table in the back of the shop. Benji stirred his ice cream and took a small bite, almost saying to herself as she took a few mouthfuls. How are you? She asked. Great, he smiled. Really? You weren't at school yesterday, and on Thursday. I saw you and Felix fighting at lunch. Geez, are you stalking me? He was kind of flattered, and she noticed she was absent. I'm kidding. She raised her eyebrows and pulled her lips to one side. Felix and I aren't fighting. I did something stupid, but I don't know why he's upset. It didn't affect him. Not really. And he's not perfect either. Benji forced down a spoonful. It's complicated. Because of the money? She handed him a napkin. He wiped his face from chin to forehead. worried he was covered in ice cream. I didn't make the basketball team. He looked at the wall behind her as she spoke. That stinks. She touched his arm lightly, and when he looked at her hand, she pulled it away. I don't even like basketball much. He stirred his ice cream again and again. It resembled a chunky, disgusting milkshake at this point. Then why did you try out? She asked, her voice not sounding sympathetic anymore. Look at me. I'm huge. I'm supposed to play basketball, and both my parents played. It's important. Doesn't sound important to you. I just want to be good at something. You know what you should do? Alma tapped the table, excited. You should audition for the spring musical. We're doing Shrek. You can't be serious, he snorted. I don't do theater. Why not? You're particularly guaranteed a spot. Hardly any boys audition. Maybe you'll even be Shrek. Do you think I'm an ogre? He looked at her in the eyes, and the hair on his arm stood up. With the right makeup, you could pass for an ogre. What? Wait. You get to wear makeup in the musical? Then I'm totally in, he said jokingly. When are auditions? Soon, in December. She smiled. I bet you'll look good in green. He wished he was painted green right now, because he could see his face was totally red. I'll think about it. Alma finished her ice cream, and they talked about the drama club fundraiser. Benji promised to volunteer and supply pizza. Then they discussed movies and books. Books that they had been made into movies. They didn't talk about basketball or money or Felix. A little kid birthday party came into the shop, raising the noise level tenfold, and Benji and Alma still sat and talked. Ava walked in just after 2:30, carrying a yellow bag, and told Alma it was time to go. Benji gathered their empty bowls and threw them out. It was the least he could do. Alma pulled on her fuzzy hat and zipped up her coat. This was fun. We should hang out more. Absolutely. What are you doing tomorrow? Benji asked, half joking. Nothing, Alma said, and Benji's heart leaped. Was she half joking too? Was she suggesting a second date? Wait, was this the first date? What made something a date? He didn't move because he didn't know how to reply. His brain was overloaded with questions and no answers. You okay? Yeah. He shook his head and forced his brain to focus. I have to go to a wedding tomorrow. Felix's sister is getting married, and we've got this epic surprise planned. We didn't want to see Felix and didn't really care about the wedding, but he was looking forward to Apex 7 concert he'd arranged. Do you want to come? Sure. With that answer, the Apex 7 concert dropped the second place of things he was looking forward to tomorrow.